Hello there and welcome back to the Abacus 11 Plus YouTube channel. Today we're going through the final part of the Bancroft School Maths sample paper for 2022. So without any further ado, let's get straight into the video. Okay, so here for our final question, we have a very interesting problem-solving type question. Jemima has written down 4 whole numbers. If she chooses 3 of her numbers at a time and adds up each triple, she obtains totals of 130, 143, 157, and 170. What is the largest of Jemima's numbers? So to even start to work this out, we have to use algebra. We have to ascribe some letters to these possible numbers. So let's use simple A, B, C, and D. Let's say these are the 4 whole numbers that Jemima has written down. And the reason, again, this use of algebra is so useful or so important is because these letters can hold any value. They can be anything. So it helps us just to work out what's going on. The next step when working out this question is we need to understand the different combinations that Jemima can make when she's making these triples, right? We're told that she's choosing 3 of these 4 numbers, only 3 of them. And when she chooses 3 of these 4, she adds them up and she gets 4 different totals. So that kind of gives us a clue that there are really 4 different combinations of these numbers that we have to find in terms of triples. So of course, the easiest triple to find, the first one should be just A plus B plus C. Second one, A plus C plus D. Third one, if we start with B, we can do B plus C plus D. And the fourth one we can do is let's do B plus A plus D. There are no more combinations we can make that haven't already been made. So these are the 4 combinations. These are the 4 triples that Jemima has written down, all in algebra letter format. Now let's ascribe these totals to these triples step by step. So let's say A plus B plus C equals 130. Let's say this next one is 143. Next one is 157. Next one is 170. Okay. Now, what can we do? We're trying to work out the largest of Jemima's numbers. Well, what we can do here is, if we look at these equations very closely, we can see that there are some shared elements between some of the equations. What do I mean by that? So let's take 1 and 2, for example. A plus B plus C equals 130, but A plus C plus D equals 143. Both 1 and 2 have A, put it in red. They both have A and they both have C, which means by looking at these 2 equations, 1 and 2, we can learn something learn something about the relationship between B and D. In this case, we know that if 143 is 13 bigger than 130, that 13 bigger, that difference is because of how much bigger D is compared to B. So essentially what we're saying here is that we know from these first 2 equations that D minus B, the difference, is equal to 13. And that's very useful information. So let's go through each of these equations and let's see what happens when we look at them like this. And let's be very methodical. So if we're being methodical, let's start by matching A and B. So A and B, let's match it. and let's put it A and B. If we match A and B, where can we do that? Well, we have one A and B here. We have another one here at the bottom. So A and B here. This tells us that D minus C equals 40. The difference is 40. 170 minus 130. That's from matching A and B. Okay, great. So let's take this off now. And now let's match A and C. Well, we just did that, right? A and C. First two, we can do that. If we match A and C, we know that D minus B equals 13. Now let's try and match something else. Let's match A and D. A and D. If we match that, well, how can we match that? Well, we have equation 2 and equation 4. If we match A and D, what does that tell us? That tells us that B is bigger than C, and it's bigger than C by 27. So we can now see how this is going. Let's continue. So let's now try and match B and C. If we match B and C 1 and 3, we should now be a bit quicker. Equations 1 and 3, D minus A equals 27. Okay. So now, before we move on, we should notice something. Every single time we've compared D with another number, whether it be C or B or A, no matter what we compare D to, D is always the bigger number because D minus something is always positive, which means that thing we're minusing must be less than D. So already that should give us a hint that D is the main letter we care about. It's the main number we care about. Because remember, the whole question is working out the largest of Jemima's numbers. So D is the main letter we care about. We'll keep that in mind. But let's continue. We've done B and C. Let's do B and D. Well, here we can use the bottom two, 3 and 4. We know A minus C equals 20 or equals 13 rather. And then we can do C and D. C and D, well, 2 and 3. B minus A equals 14. Awesome. That should be everything. Okay, so now we've gone through a significant step by realizing that we can analyze the differences between these letters. Now, all we have to do is use some substitution to hopefully work out what D is. Because remember, once again, D is the letter we care about. D is clearly going to be the biggest number, the largest of Jemima's numbers, because again, when we compare it to every single other letter and we subtract every single other letter from D, we're left with a positive number, which shows D must be bigger. So let's just start with equation 1. We have A plus B plus C equals 130. Let's substitute out A using this equation here. B minus A equals 14. Well, if we know B minus A is 14, we also know that A equals B minus 14. We bring the A to the right side by adding A to both sides, and we bring the 14 to the left side by subtracting 14 from both sides. And then we can use this to turn this into not A plus B plus C, but B minus 14 plus B plus C. And then we can also change out C, because we know that C equals B minus 27 right here. Add the C minus 27. We should be getting more fluid at this by now. So now we have B minus 14 plus B, and not C, but B minus 27. Okay. So let's write this all out as 1. We have B minus 14 plus b minus 27 equals 130. Let's get all the b's to one side, all the numbers to the other side. So on the left-hand side, we should have 1, 2, 3b. On the right-hand side, we should have 130 plus 14 plus 27. 130 plus 14 is 144 plus 27, well, plus the 7 is 151, plus the 20 is 171. So it's 171. And therefore, b, we simply divide both sides by 3. b equals 171 divided by 3. Now, 3 into 17 is 5, carry the 2. 3 into 21 is 7, so b equals 57. And now we should be able to work out our magic number d, because if b is 57, first of all, we can rearrange this equation because d equals 13 plus b, right? We add b to both sides. And then if b is 57, that's 13 plus 57, which is 70. 10 plus 50 is 60, 3 plus 7 is 10, 60, 10, 70. So D is 70. So it was a long-winded question, and this certainly is more of a scholarship level question, or in grammar school terms, a higher level question to really see the top of the top students. But as we've seen through this working, if you know what you're doing, if you're comfortable with algebra and you're persistent and you really push through, you can still get to the answer of D being 70, or the largest number being 70. That's our answer. Okay, so that is all for today. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you're the first to know when the next video is released. And on that note, I will see you all next time.